Welcome to Comic Industry Insiders Live once again. We are coming to you a little bit early so that we can kind of give everybody a chance to file into the room and, give us all a chance to chit chat. And look at that. We're up on LinkedIn. Well done, Blake. Well done, buddy. Good job.
It's a team effort. We all worked. Well, shout out to Megan, because I've never used that platform before you hired me.
Yeah.
So I was, and it was super creepy, or not creepy. It was kind of terrifying too, because you were like, "Look, you're doing great on Facebook, but here's the deal: LinkedIn's totally different language." And I was like, "What does that mean?" So Megan, taught me how to LinkedIn, and it's been going well. Like we're getting engagement, we're getting views.
Yeah.
People are searching for Prana.
There you go.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes for those of you who are joining us now. One person in the audience. Hi, whoever you are. Feel free to jump into the chat. Let us know you're here. We'd love to hear from you. Oh, it's Marvin. Marvin Wynn. How you doing, buddy? We see your name all over the place. It's good to see you. So we're starting this every week. We do a live show where we talk about industry insider stuff. We've started doing this this sort of pre-show banter to kind of get everybody warmed up, and to let people fall into the room and to kind of get ready to go. We will go live. We'll officially start the show with some semblance of professional production at 2 p.m. Eastern. So that's just in 13 minutes. So how was everyone's Batman Day? Did anybody celebrate? How did you celebrate Batman Day? Megan, I know that you had to have done something.
Of course. I went to Dreamers and Make Believers in Baltimore because they have a coffee bar, so they had themed drinks. They had the screen up, so all the different times were for different customers to come in. So early in the morning was Lego Batman and Batwheels. Most of the day, for the midsection of the day, was the animated series, possibly the greatest Batman adaptation on screen.
Oh yeah.
And then the evening was I believe the Nolan films.
Oh, fancy.
So they did a great job planning it out and having things ready for everybody all day. And then since it was the 20th of the month, they had their special roll the D20 for a discount as well. So great job, Sam and Melinda.
I love
Miranda. And little Harley Quinn loved it too, because the tiny human dressed up as Harley.
Aww.
Loves the theme.
It's funny because I've basically been living at Dreamers and Make Believers for the last week and a half. And on Saturday, I chose to go the other direction and drove to Third Eye.
Yes. Another great shot.
Yep.
Let's add to the stage somebody who is actually probably doing something on Saturday. Hey, Shannon.
Hi. Just a couple things.
Let's see what's going on in your whiteboard here. What are we planning? Anything good?
Oh, we have every Sunday, we have Sunday Crafternoon, which is just open self-guided stuff for people to come into our classroom and make art. And we recently, because we have we're doing a zine fest this weekend. We've had zine supplies on the table as well as collage supplies on the table every week. So we had to explain like how you make, the little one-page zine. So the folding paper trick is on the board, and then there's like examples of what a 6-page comic could look like as well.
Man, I just moved to a town where I legitimately have a really great shop locally. He's many of you would know him if I said his name. I want to encourage him to follow that Dreamers and Make Believers and that Bat City model of giving me something to do on the weekend. I think that would be, I think congratulations. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, it's fun, free thing for people to just come in and do, and it gets people into the store, but it also gives families especially something to do that doesn't cost $100 for the family to go out and do it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we had Brian there for a moment. Look out. Awesome. What else is happening? We're going to be talking about DC. We're going to be talking about Sparkle Pop finally getting their hand slapped. What else is happening in comics that you guys we're not going to be talking about? We got another 10 minutes. I know that we're talking quite a bit about local comic shop day, and IPG. We have a guest from IPG is coming on.
Very cool.
Joe, you went to a super secret conference. Can you talk about
did.
that?
Well, yeah, actually, I'll tell you. So you're talking about Batman Day. I did play hooky and went to a great comic book shop. I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, for a Dent of Future conference. But yeah, I played hooky and I went to Big Adventure Comics, which is in the part of town that George R. Martin owns everything essentially, and that was really cool. Stopped by his bookstore, Beasley Books, picked up a couple signed things. But yeah, Big Adventure is a great shop. Like if you guys are in Santa Fe, New Mexico, stop by, say hi to Kevin and crew. I picked up. Speaking of zines. One of my favorite things to do is pick up some local zines when I'm traveling. I picked up it's called the Orbit Drive-In. This is a bunch of movie reviews. And then also picked up my other favorite thing is when I miss something by someone who I love. Kevin had this on his staff picks, the Bowling with Corpses by Mike Mignola. It's awesome. As a dude who's been like super hardcore into Hellboy for whatever 20 million years, it's just him doing a bunch of random like folk inspired stories, and it's super great. So I just want to publicly thank Kevin and company for
that's awesome.
Stocking such a great job. And Rob Guillory and I signed a bunch of books. So they had a bunch of shutters and ringsides and chews and farmhands. So thank you, Kevin. That was my Saturday.
Right on. Yeah. I would ask you what Rob Guillory's doing, but I know we're going to be talking about something Rob Guillory's doing very soon. So
yes, correct.
Kind of save and tease that. Brian, welcome to the pre-show banter, buddy. How you doing?
Hi. I'm sick. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, good times. It's been a while since I've gotten sick, but I've got my son had a cold a couple of weeks ago, and I apparently have it. So I'm living in that first couple days fog where just everything hurts and sucks and fun.
Well, thanks for joining the show anyway. I definitely appreciate it. We've been talking lately. There's a project that Joe and I are working on where we are talking about the things that happened in comics that no longer happen in comics. Right? Maybe, or magazines, stuff like that we just don't see anymore. And so I personally have started trolling anytime I see like a $1 bin. I started trolling for old comics and looking through them for inspiration, stuff that doesn't happen. Obviously, there are things like the, the old magazine sales, like Grit, that kind of thing. You don't see that in really much anymore.
Still being published, by the way. I found this out recently. Grit is still being published. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's sort of more like
that I love about old romance books is all of these like acrylic nail ads. I don't know why we stopped advertising acrylic nails in comics. I think I think it absolutely should be. It's a ripe market for it, is what I'm saying.
I think the bigger question is, why did we stop making romance comics in comics?
100%.
About that all the time.
I actually was at a party on Saturday with a bunch of normies, and one of them had just read Cavalier and Clay because she was working on the opera for Cavalier and Clay that's going on right now. And we were talking about, I was just kind of giving her a little brief history on the history of comics and why, right? How we lost all those great crime and horror books and how it all came about because of those stupid congressional hearings. And that set us back for decades in trying to do stuff for everybody. So, yeah, it was always shocking to me. But I mean, come on, we just don't have enough. We don't have enough ads about acrylic nails. It's just not there.
We don't have.
It's not romance.
We don't have question.
Oh, sorry, Kyle.
I was gonna say we don't have questionable athletes selling leather goods on the backs of books anymore.
See what's great is so. There's this Eric Powell book about exactly what you were just talking, The Seduction of the Innocent, Dr. Wortham, who had all those Senate things. This is so good. It's on my bedstand, so this is just the book jacket right now. But like you, I've been going to shops, and my new obsession is Comic Scene magazine. Do you remember this?
Dude, I've got those right here. Yeah.
Right? So I've been like going around and finding look at this great like foil cover. Oh, yeah, I'm totally obsessed with it, and I've been like looking for as many copies.
Illustrated. You want to talk about that?
Nice. Got a few wizards. I even have a couple of the later year wizards where they were like just stapled instead of the big square bound ones. Oh, yeah. I'm obsessed with this stuff right now.
Are you guys carrying bubbles?
No. Should I be?
I've started to see this. They're getting really great distribution. I'm really starting to see them everywhere. I don't know how you get them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, bubblezine.com. I'm seeing them everywhere.
I'm writing it down.
All right, good.
Say, I'm taking a note for you too, Shannon.
Thank you.
Yeah, anyway.
I love it. It became like a swap thing. Like, look what I got. Look what I got.
I know, right? That's the best part.
I have old toy preview magazines sitting right here.
Oh, right on.
Look at those Simpson collector items on there.
Action figure digest, like
comics review.
Nice.
What I love about this is that everybody who we're talking to right now is within reaching distance of where we are.
Yeah.
Well, for reasons unknown, I turned this shelf into my comics magazine shelf. So level 2 is all Wizards from like 1 through 75. And then the top level is like everything from comic scene. I've got or media scene. Remember this? Jim Steranko.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Have you not seen this? You've never seen this? Jim Steranko published the comics newspaper. It started off as like just comics, then it became media scene. So this one has like.
The fuck are you talking about? I'm sorry.
You've never seen this.
Yeah, you're 11 minutes in.
Okay.
Can I advocate for
It's
a
awesome.
Zdarsky Zdarsky Comics News? I'm just throwing that out there. I will start advocating for that.
I don't know.
We'll see. I personally, I did pitch Steranko, and I said, listen, you know who Uncle Baby Billy is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Real person actually in but Steranko is all over Cavalier and Clay. He is that magician, right? He is that escape artist. Yeah, it's yeah. And I think you're talking to the right people about a feature for Steranko. We've got about 3 more minutes. If you are in the chat, every one of those Steranko mags was awesome in so many ways, says Jeremy. Yeah. Jeremy, I might need one if you've got any in your in-house. You're gonna let me know.
They're killer, dude. Yeah, we'll talk more later. Yeah. One more modern suggestion. This one just started coming out. Dummy. I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
Love Dummy.
Issue kind of on bootleg, Mickey Mouse bootlegs. Another one on Pee-wee's Playhouse art. So it was like Gary Panner and Kaz and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
That was so good. That documentary with about Pee-wee's Playhouse is amazing. Yeah, I know. I'm saying, Jeremy, I know you every time you get one they sell. If you get one, you let me know. That's what I'm trying to say. Just let me know when they show up. Jeez. Gosh,
that's show and tell for today.
Once again, this is just a pre-show banter for our live show for Comic Industry Insiders. Just an opportunity for everybody to kind of get into the room before we start light this candle and really start looking like professionals who have a lot of information to present, including Shannon, who's going to talk to us about local comic shop day. So please do stick around. We're going to go live in 2 minutes.
Did any retailers see pushback over the whole like Jimmy Kimmel thing with just people were canceling their Disney trips and they were canceling their Disney Plus subscriptions, and it actually kind of made a difference with ABC seems to have kind of pulled back on it. I'm just curious if people saw that with like Marvel Comics. I didn't personally, but I'm wondering if anyone else did.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think people like made that far of
that much of it.
Yeah, I could do a 5-hour podcast on this particular topic, as it is one of my special interest autism topics, is how TV media works. But I can tell you that they're actually not the same company, which is really fun that people think they are.
Oh, Disney and Marvel is what you're saying?
Disney Television and the Disney that runs Marvel are actually subsidiaries of a bigger company.
Gotcha.
That is Disney worldwide or whatever. Like it's how the one company owns every cookie company, but they're all different cookie companies.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
but awesome. That's what was interesting is like sometimes people go to the top of the umbrella, right? Not just the bottom. So yeah. But yeah.
All right. Well, let's light this candle. Thanks so much for everybody for jumping into the pre-show. We got a show to start, and that start will happen. It's Tuesday, which means your boxes have shown up. You've opened them up. You put the product out. You've inventoried them. You're now doing the pull sheets. And Comic Industry Insiders Live is here once again. My name is Adam Freeman. I work with a company called Prana Direct Market Solutions, and we put this thing together every week so that I can see how messy my office is behind me, but also so that we can talk through the week's headlines and try and dig deeper on the things that we think you're going to want to hear about. My co-host, as always, is a man who's showing up despite the fact that he's full up on the cold meds. Mr. Brian Garside.
Just a little. Like, I'm not on the hardcore stuff either. I'm on the just the mild stuff. But yeah, I'm here. Hey, we missed you last week.
I know.
Without you.
Oh, that's very sweet of you to say. You guys did great without me.
The show was great, but we still missed you.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We don't need you.
Yeah, no. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I am a large ham. I have big ham, so yeah, I can handle it. But yeah, it sucks not to have you here. So I'm glad.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys putting it on even without me. It was just one of those weeks where I realized, oh, yeah, this is not going to happen. Yeah, so yeah,
I hear you. I hear you.
Well, buddy, we have quite the show this week. What are we talking about? We're talking about local comic shop day. We're talking about how that is going to be scheduled. We have an incredible Shannon Live from Comics Pro, who was just in the pre-show banter. She's going to be up telling us about how that's all working this year. Kyle is going to come back and tell us all about how the experience is going to be involved in local comic shop day for the first time. It's really exciting, incredibly exciting. And then go ahead.
I'm looking forward to this episode. It's going to be good.
Yeah, me too. We're gonna be talking to a friend of ours from IPG, which is a book distributor, digital book distributor, who is entering into the comics distribution field, as it were, and is essentially going to be working directly with comic book shops. So we want to make sure that we got all the details from him. But yeah. Fun. Anyway, let's talk about news. Wanna?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, great.
But
before we do that, this is me not forgetting that I was going to do this ad. The Prana Bullet. This is our weekly newsletter we do at Prana Direct Market Solutions, and we essentially do a quick email that has all the biggest headlines of the week, all the things that will affect your business or career in comics. We set this up so that all you have to do is sign up once, and once a week into your inbox will be, I don't know, some sort of word salad that I throw out there, and then a link to everything that we think is really important for comics. All you need to do is either scan this QR code to go to pranadms.com and then click the button right there. Look at that beautiful site, my friend.
Amazing, eh?
It's beautiful. Click that side of that button there that says the weekly newsletter sign up, and we'll get you the very next one. Look at that. You just fill it out. We could right? You should fill it out so that you can get doxxed. That would be great.
That's a terrible idea, Adam, so I'm not going to do
that. Excellent. Let's talk about news. Do you want to?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, I told everyone I'm not going to click any buttons, and here I am clicking buttons.
I'll tell you what. How about I will click the buttons that go from slide to slide? How about that?
I love it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Every week we try and pick out a couple of things we think are going to be the most effective to your business, and so this week we grabbed a couple that we thought were like the biggest ones. Obviously, we have been following. Arguably, without the Diamond bankruptcy, there is no Comic Industry Insiders Live, because we went on for the first time, I think, to talk about this, didn't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, this was basically just our back channel made large.
That's right. Because every week we're like, what is happening?
What is happening
now?
I always describe it as like being both underwater and simultaneously on fire at the same time. That's what the industry's been like for the last year. And not underwater because we're in trouble, but underwater because we're drowning, with all the stuff that's going on.
Looks like Christina Strong has jumped into the chat. I just want to say hi to Christina and her crew at Stronghold. I met with them this week, and they have such a great shop. They are like really dynamic. They have a really fantastic Discord channel. Doing incredible work there. Anyway, also big fans of the show, and I appreciate you guys always showing up. Anyway, Sparkle Pop. Let's get back to that. I like Blake's little graphic here. So Sparkle Pop has decided. Finally, the courts have said no. You cannot sell the content, the product that you are holding on to as for the people who are on consignment with Diamond. Please stop it. And they kept saying, well, we don't know which it is and which it isn't, you know. And then they said, yeah, you do. Quit selling it. And so finally this week, Sparkle Pop came in and said, look, here it is. Here's the documentation. We're all done selling it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, these guys can start getting their product back, these publishers, because this is just horrific.
Yeah, it's been interesting, especially like being on the retailer side of things and seeing the liquidation sales that are going on at Diamond, and how much of it was obviously, you know, Marvel and not DC, not Image, but there was a lot of Marvel and other product on there that was fairly recent too.
Yeah. Scary. And then they just kept going, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. All right. What are you I see you pulling up something here, but
no,
but yeah.
No, I was actually just looking at this whole thing that's on the website.
Oh, okay.
Just curious.
Just basically what it is. Sparkle Pop finally went, okay, fine. Yeah. We won't sell it anymore. We weren't going to give you any money anyway. So,
well, exactly, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, our friends at DC had a week. This has been an incredible week. We just talked about in the pre-show banter. Saturday was Batman Day, which is great. Anytime you have a calendar, you have a character so big that you get your own holiday. I think that's great. They just announced that the new Batman book they sold out of a 500,000 copy print run. Sold out, and are going to second printing out of 500,000 copies.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's just nutty. It's wonderful that we're in that space right now. Also, I spoke to yet another retailer this last week who told me that they are, again, another 25-year store, 25-year-old store, said they're 30% over last year. I keep hearing these.
Yeah.
The stores are just killing right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're doing really, really well. And it's a lot of new faces too for us. Like, it's people I've never seen before that are coming back to comics, that's always exciting. And starting comics. Like, we've got a ton of high school students, and at some point I'm going to do my my street team episode that I want to do of this show, but not today.
Yeah, we talked about that. I'm all for it. I think that's going to be great. I want to get that sort of ground level, because we talked about how there's an entire generation that is just now starting to go into the workforce that grew up on books like Dogman and Smile, you know, and like this generation is finally coming to play, and we're seeing that. I think we have another 5 to 10 years of this kind of growth, and I'm so excited for it. We also saw them solicit even more of this incredible compact line, and people are starting to notice that whenever DC puts out something in the compact line, there's a good reason for it.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on how many they come in. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And absolutely. They want everything because they've never seen it before, right? I mean, I was just talking to somebody about how you go in. This is a retailer who had been a retailer during the late 90s and early aughts, at the same time I was as well. How somebody would come in and they would get excited, and then suddenly they're just consuming everything that is comics related. They want to touch, and you get them on a vein of stuff, and they can't keep going. I will say this, however, DC doing such an incredible job does lead me to wonder, where is our friends at Marvel?
And like there's like a lack of buzz about everything. So they're about to do another Age of Apocalypse thing where they stop all of their X titles and start a whole new storyline. Like, it literally starts this week. And that is not news. Nobody cares. And we lost significant numbers of Marvel, of X-Men people from the regular series to these. Like, some of these new books, I'm seeing 2 and 3 subs, and I'm going a little heavier on them because I think they'll do okay. But also, Marvel stuff does not sell off the shelf for me very well. It sells to subs, and that's kind of it lately. Like, it's been really weird. DC over time will sell. Like, I will sell 10 or 15 copies of something that I have 10 subs for. If it's interesting and, you know, a new number one. Marvel, Spider-Girl, I think I sold 2 copies. Like, yeah, it's really, really weird right now.
That is so crazy.
Even stuff like Predator versus the Marvel Universe, which I thought would sell really, really well, because Aliens versus Avengers sold really, really well. Barely trickle. Like, it's weird. It's so bizarre. And I don't see much media support for any of the Marvel titles. I'm not seeing a ton. Like, DC does a really, really good job about talking about stuff and making a communication, like a conversation happen around it.
Yeah.
James Gunn is bringing it up on his podcast every week, right? Like, and yet Marvel, I'm not seeing the same kind of energy there.
Yeah. Curious. It's curious. Makes me wonder what they're building in the background, because I feel like as a company, they've always been it always seemingly has been important to them that they be the lead in circulation over, you know, DC being, you know, leading, I guess, in profit. Like, they've always seemed to be a little more concerned with whatever the bottom line was. But, like, you know, Marvel's, their goal has always been to out-circulate everybody. That's why they do so many covers, and they continue to build. We've seen that over and over again when we look at the sales data. So
that's one DC thing we should mention, is that DC has really, really dropped back on the 1 in 25s. I noticed that just this week, like, I didn't get one for Absolute Wonder Woman, and then when I was doing my FOCs, there were like no 1 in 25. So they're reducing their covers at the same time other people are kind of increasing the covers.
100%. Wow. All right.
Oh, this is heartbreakingly true. The Star Wars relaunch has fizzled. Like, I think we went from 25 to 10 subs, and we auto subbed everyone, and they just dropped it.
Pulled it off. They actively pulled it off.
And it's one of those titles. It's like, this should be super interesting, because it's a story that hasn't been told before. It's supposed to take place after Return of the Jedi. Again, like, where's the marketing support for this? Because 5 years ago, that would have been the biggest story on every single news website, but nobody cares.
Truthfully. Wow, dude. Well, it's a weird time. It's a very weird time.
I'm disappointed, because I'm a huge Marvel fan, and I think they should be doing better than they are.
I agree. And they will. I feel like I said, it always feels like when they have to go through this period, like, it's them rebuilding. They're rebuilding something.
Yeah, you know? I hope so.
And if nothing else, DC has shown them exactly what they can, how to rebuild, how to, you know, focus on content first, right? I think that's one of the strongest things they did. All right, we are going to lose our next guest if we don't move on. So let's do it. Local Comic Shop Day is coming up. It's this weekend, right? Yeah, Saturday, September 27th. It says right there in the graphic. Excellent. This is once again, we talked about holidays. This is a holiday that has been designed to get people into their local comic shop. We, you know, here at Prana and at Comic Industry Insiders, we love comic shops. Obviously, they are crucial to the work that we do. And we think obviously have much more intrinsic value than even other brick and mortar stores, because of that weekly habit that brings people in, that reinforces relationships, gives you that third place to be. They really are kind of magical and wonderful and deserving of our support. Our next guest is someone who not only lives that life, but also works towards building up the entire system of local comic shops. We've had her on the show before, and she comes to us from Bat City Comics in Florida, and the board of directors for local comics, or for Comics Pro, which is very involved in a local comic shop day. Ladies and gentlemen, Shannon Live. We all pushed the button at the same time. We did it again.
everybody. And I was like, I'm everywhere and nowhere all at the same time.
Welcome to the show once again, Shannon. First off, how was Batman Day?
I actually am celebrating Batman Day through my local comic shop day event because it is actually our 7-year anniversary, which we call our Bativersary. And so it works really well. It's our anniversary of our store, and it's also our anniversary of when we opened in Bradenton. We did not plan those to line up so perfectly well when they did. And so Batman Day always falls either right before or right on the anniversary. And now that local comic shop day is this weekend as well, we're like, you know what? It's all going to be one big giant party. So we're giving away our Batman Day stuff and doing all of our special Batman things in connection with a local comic shop day.
That's incredible. I love those sorts of. I had something very similar when I was a retailer with a free comic book day, which we had you on to talk about last time, so we won't belabor that too much. Let's talk about what is local comic shop day. First off, you work with Comics Pro. Can you give us 30 seconds on what that is, and then what is local comic shop day and why does it matter?
Yeah, so Comics Pro is the retail trade organization for comic store retailers. And it is an organization that basically provides advocacy, training, and education. It has networking opportunities, availability, so many different things. We are basically just giving that unified voice for the industry and trying to make sure that we never feel like we're on an island. Because as comic shop owners, everybody here can talk about the feeling of feeling like, am I the only person who understands these problems I'm going through? I mean, we laugh because we just hired an employee and she's like, none of my friends are off on Mondays and Tuesdays but me. And we're like, yeah, welcome to comics. So right. You're going to never find friends who are off Mondays and Tuesdays. It's unfortunately now we are your only friends. I'm so sorry. And so it's that thing. Like, I don't know somebody else who understands all the different aspects of the job, but that's one of the best things about Comics Pro is you can make friends who have those experiences, who maybe figured out how to find something to do on a Monday with friends, like something like that, but also just continue to advocate for the industry and just help it all move forward. Rising tide raises all ships, and Comics Pro is here to help do that. As for local comic shop day, Comics Pro actually founded local comic shop day in 2015. It is a day to celebrate exactly what you said, Adam. We're here to celebrate the fact that comic book stores are that third space for the community, that we are building something that people can come to and just find themselves in, find those books that speak to what that self looks like, find those friends who they can hang out with while they're doing it, and just be a pillar in the community, especially in times like now, like we just said. We're talking about there's so many people pouring into comic stores, and it's not just the content, it's also the space that's pulling people into them. It's because if it was just the content, they could read them online, right. But they're not. They're coming in. They want to have that conversation. My store has bar stools at the counter, and it looks like a bar because we know that people want to come in and talk about their books and their experiences. And we always say we're not here to talk about your job unless you want to talk about your job, because you didn't come to the comic book store to have somebody go, so how was work today for the last. You came to the comic store because you wanted to talk about what Spider-Man did at work today. Like, you talk about what happened in Absolute Batman and what Absolute Catwoman's going to look like. You wanted to talk about Buried Long, Long Ago from Mad Cave and whether or not you're going to sleep tonight. You want to have all of those conversations, and that's what the comic shop's for. And we're building that, and so many people are building that internationally. That local comic shop day is like, how do we talk about the community, not just the commodity, but how do we celebrate that community that's being built? Then we honor local comic shops and we bring people into them to show them, hey, if you haven't been here before, it's been a while since you've been here. If you come here every day, the space is here and we're having a party. And that's what local comic shop day is all about.
Amen. 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 We've talked so much, especially on this show, about how during an age where, as you said, the interaction with the content is completely different than the interaction with the community. And the content itself is not really enough for us, because digitally, I mean, at the end of the day, the last thing I want to do is stare at a computer some more.
Yeah.
You know, we're all of us living on a screen. Like, it's the having that opportunity to go in, to be in a third place and you know, touch and talk about and interact with the things that you're nerdy about that are not work, and they're not family, and they're not like paying the rent and, you know, your taxes, you know. Oh yeah, that's wonderful. I thank you so much for doing it. So what do the stores get? What is it that's being provided this year?
Yeah, so Local Comic Shop Day always has a fun level of awesome exclusives. And there are stores can choose which ones they want to carry. You know, it's kind of like Record Store Day, and that you can go in and you might find that like rare variant edition of something. We do not have Taylor Swift's new album available for Local Comic Shop Day. I'm sorry, couldn't make that happen. But we do have a ton of different things, and we actually have some really great sponsors. Our gold sponsors this year, who really went just like above and beyond for stores, were like John and Quarterly, Drin Productions, Marvel, Oni Press, Scholastic, Wattpad. There was so many. They just got so many cool things that they were giving to stores. So some of those first like 100 to 200 stores that registered got even extra bonuses. There is a couple different Marvel variants. There's a Comics Pro exclusive version of the Marvel variant. There's a Oni Press did a foil exclusive of Jay Stevens' EC Horror, that one of his Catacomb of Torment covers, that he recreated like a classic EC but in his style. It is so cool. You know, there's so many things. Ignition, before they even launched, was already doing a Local Comic Shop Day exclusive, which was awesome of them. So it's the new version of the Beauty, and it's the only, like, it doesn't even come out for another month, but you can get it on Local Comic Shop Day at your local comic shops. There's just so many. Amp's a part of it. Comicsburg. I saw Marvin in the chat. Marvin went with The Edge, bringing a cool gatefold like cover of The Edge that's exclusive for Local Comic Shop Day. There's so many things, and those are just the exclusives. The other cool thing is that stores are building out events. You know, some stores you're going to go in, they're going to have the exclusives, they're going to have all this cool stuff, but some stores are doing really like small. Some stores are doing really huge events. Some stores are doing like off the wall insane options for things. We've seen some stores. I know I saw Tommy Donovan in the chat. He's got 4 stores that he's partnered up together that are all doing something for their whole city. That's like Local Comic Shop Day explosion. There's scavenger hunts happening at places. There's you know, bingo games. There's all kinds of stuff. We're doing a zine fest and maker fair, and it's really cool because we are going to have like 13 creators. Plus, for us, we just wrote I just wrote a book for a comic for the Bradenton Marauders, which is the farm team of the Pittsburgh Pirates. We just created a comic book for them based on their mascot, and so myself, the artist, and the mascot will all be signing during Local Comic Shop Day, because what's more local than rooting for your home team? So we're gonna
amazing
doing that. And so there's all kinds of crazy things that are happening all across the world. We've got participants in several different countries, which is always just really cool to see that this community is an international community. It's not just, you know, it's not just here and down the street. It's everywhere that comic stores exist.
You know, I just got caught on something you just said. You're the second retailer I've talked to in the last couple months who is partnering with a local sports team. I think there's something there. Maybe we should put together some sort of how to approach your local franchises and discuss those kinds of arrangements at some point.
It's a great thing. We've been partnered with them for 3 years now. And we actually revamped their kids club for them. And so their kids club is the Bat City Bradenton Marauders Kids Club. And we are at every kids club game. And we do all the kid club activities and stuff at the games with them. So we do, we actually made, like, they have Hispanic Heritage Night. So I made a Loteria game that was baseball themed, and it taught the baseball terms in Spanish, and then it was all done in comic style paneling so that they could also color it and make their own like comic while they were there, out of their loteria that they played. And so we partner with them for all kinds of stuff. And then they come out here. They're here on Free Comic Book Day. They're here, they're one of our annual judges for our chili cook-off that we do. So it's like, it's such a cool thing. And then now we have this comic, and I should have brought it, but it's such a cool thing because it is actually made to where it's not gloss paper, so the kids can color the comic, but the last panel on every page, the kids have to finish the page. So it's like, okay, what do you think should be, like, how many players will they need on the team, or what kind of things did you think happened in this scene? And so the kids have to actually interact, engage with the story. But then they also learn about the mascot. They get excited. They want to go to the games. And so it just becomes something that everybody can be a part of. And yeah, if you have a minor league team in your area, like Kyle just said, minor league sports teams are almost always down to do fun stuff. They really are. They are so fun. They're always in. Baseball team, minor league teams, you can set up things like Comic-Cons at the minor leagues team stadiums. So just, as long as you keep it generic, there's so many opportunities there, and they're always looking for things in their community that they can be connected to. So I highly recommend it, and I am definitely down to come back and talk about how you can network with your local sports teams.
We definitely should. I'm looking forward to that. I wanted to bring this back up and talk about something that's happening inside of the local comic shop day. But Brian, why don't you talk about?
Is it the Brian Garside takeover of an entire?
What happened here? This is all Brian Garside. What happened?
Yeah. We've been talking for a while about doing some different things. So the Comics Place Perfectly Acceptable podcast is going to air, I think, at 8:00 Pacific, which is 11:00 Eastern. And then right after that, we're going to do a Data Bros. And then earlier in the day, we're going to do an hour with Earth 519, where I'm going to do my first live sales ever. And then I'm going to do a bit of managed comic stuff. I think producer Kyle is in the
So yeah, I could turn my camera on if you want to see me, but I'm going to correct Brian when he says something wrong, but he didn't. So it worked out all right.
So we're also talking about the experience getting involved in local comic shop day. You might be watching this on an Experience channel. If you're not, you should check out the Experience on YouTube and many other platforms. But you guys are doing something all day, right?
Yeah, I mean, it started off as a bigger idea, and then it got smaller, and then it got massive. And so it's like anything you do with comic retailers and publishers, everybody waits until they know what they're doing before they tell you what they're doing. Yeah. And so in the last week, it has gone from a kind of big but small event to a colossal event. We've had almost 40 retailers pop in and send me videos, send me commercials, send me stuff from their shops. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, about 10 shops participating live on the day, and more coming. I'm trying to work out an entire special stringer to be in Richmond to go to all the Tommy events, to all the shops that Tommy's organizing. I have a stringer in Houston, going to a bunch of shops in Houston.
Nice.
I'm working on, more people to just go visit. And here's what's cool. Here's what's going to be cool about local comic shop day. That's nothing I've ever seen done on comic book YouTube. We will have a call and text number where fans can contact the broadcast directly and tell us what's happening at their shop. So if you're a fan and you go into Shannon's store and you're like, hey, there's no line if you want to meet the mascot from the Bradenton baseball team, you can text in and we can shout you out live on the air and direct people to these local comic shop events. Cool. So that'll be fun, but we'll have Lee Heidel will be joining us. Torma is doing a bunch of doing 2 shops. He's going from Third Eye up to Dreamers and Make Believers to join us. Trish Forstner, Brian's doing a thing. Jen King will have Josh Starnes from Amp Comics on, and we'll be doing some live sales. We have the streaming premiere of Shopping for Superman.
That's really cool.
We're going to be talking about shopping for a new Superman here in a little bit. But before, I know that we did promise her that she would be out at this time. So I just want to take a special moment to say we all wish that we could be Shannon Live when we grow up.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Shannon. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for doing the work that you're doing. And we're looking forward to yet another really great local comic shop day. So y'all keep it up.
Please hashtag local comic shop day 2025 or hashtag LCSD 2025. Tag the local comic shop day Instagram, Facebook, and We Are Comics Pro whenever you're at these events, whether you're a store retailer or you're somebody who goes to the events. Please tag us. We want to see all of your pictures. Thanks for shouting it out. Thanks, Kyle, for all the stuff the experience is doing. We're so excited to see how this goes. And thanks, Adam and Brian, for having me. I got to go teach some kids how to make comics now.
Yeah, fun.
Have fun with that. All right. Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
All right. And thank you, Kyle. Looking forward to Saturday with all that you're doing. And we are still trying to figure out how we're going to participate. So we got 72 hours, man. We're going to work it out.
That's like 10 years in comic book time.
That's right.
We've done so much in 72 hours. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Awesome. Let's start talking about our next guest, who was so kind as to join us on our podcast this week. We recently heard about a new group entering into the fray of distribution, and essentially we want to bring on someone from IPG to discuss the fact that they are distributing now to comic shops. And when we reached out, they said, well, how about the CEO? So, I mean, I guess so. Hi, Joe. Welcome to Comic Industry Insiders, and welcome to being a comics industry insider now.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm not really set up for podcasts here at my desk in Chicago office, but I hope I sound okay and look all right. I'm a little pale here with the light.
Listen, we've had so much worse.
True. And some of it was us.
Very true.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. Yeah, it's I have a lot to learn about the direct market, about comic book selling and shops. I get to meet all you folks that are in the trades and the book shops, the comic book shops, the publishers. So it's an exciting time for me.
That's wonderful. I mean, really, really appreciate you doing this. And obviously, there's there's definitely an opportunity for many other people to come into this, like the Diamond vacuum that has led, as you've started to look at the disruption that the Diamond bankruptcy had. How much of that weighed into what you're doing, and as an outsider, what did you see in the comics arena?
Yeah, I mean, what crazy times. Diamond had the monopoly forever. They were untouchable. Yeah. And then we saw the big guys, Marvel, and go out, and I saw them reducing staff. My head of international sales is a guy named Scott Hatfill, who did international sales for Diamond for, I think, many, many years, 12 years, extremely well known. And he was, and that really, to me, that changing of the guard when Kuyo Lang and Scott Hatfill left Diamond Comic, Diamond Book division of Diamond Comic, I knew something was afoot and it wasn't going to be the same. Then they closed one of their facilities, and we started hearing about poor turn times and delivery to comic book shops. For us at IPG, we've always just been a trade book distributor. We have every kind of publisher in every genre. We're like the little big guy or the big little guy in the industry. We're a top 20 supplier of books to the book trade, but we're nowhere near the size of Penguin Random House, Simon & Schuster, HarperCollins, Macmillan, Hachette, the guys that dominate. And of course, Ingram, which if you're in the business, that's the industry leading wholesaler of the book trade. They're also, I think Ingram is trying to sell to comic book shops now, which is interesting. So the thing that Diamond did for us is they always acted like our specialty wholesaler to the direct market. So I thought of them as a customer.
Yeah.
It competed with me a little bit in that they offered some distribution services to graphic novel publishers, as did I. But they would buy my graphic novels and sell them to the comic book shops. So they were mostly a customer.
Right.
And then when they went away, I started hearing these just horrific stories about publishers who all their inventories trapped, publishers that hadn't been paid since November last year. Just tragic. I'm hearing about lawsuits now that are coming from the bank to the publishers. Just crazy. And our phone started ringing because people are saying, well, how are we going to distribute our books? We're going to miss the holiday season. So we said, well, we'll crash you in. We'll do everything we can for you. I don't know if I can get your books out of the Diamond warehouse, but we'll try. And so suddenly, so that was one impact, is that suddenly a bunch more graphic novel publishers started talking to us, and we've signed up several of them. The other thing was I needed a new channel into the direct market. And I know that I can offer a better price direct to the bookshops, the comic book shops, buying directly from IPG versus wholesaling through Ingram, which is fine too. We like our friends at Ingram, but you get a little better deal directly from us and maybe some better customer service. Maybe we can throw some posters in there. Maybe there's some giveaway stuff we can do. Whatever it takes to try to engage with this new market of something like 350 comic book shops that we've reached out to so far initially.
Oh, right on. That's a really strong number. I know it sounds, from people outside of this market, that sounds like a small number, but the truth of the matter is that, like, most publishers I know, when they can actually achieve that 300 to 500 sort of minimum viable audience, like, that's all you really need. So it sounds like you're already there, and that gives you lots of room for growth.
Yeah, and I've had publishers like NBM, Terry Nadier, great publisher. We've been distributing them forever to the book trade, and so I assume comic book shops have been getting some of that content through Diamond, distributed by us, and now they can get that same content directly from us. And I didn't know anything about how to sell to comic book shops. In my naivety, I said, let's get some commissioned reps and just set them loose, and they can knock on doors at all these shops. And I was told, no, that is not how comic book shop owners like to curate their selection. You need to get an advance catalog. So we created IPG Impact. This is just
that's awesome.
I got 450 titles in here, about 50 front list, unreleased, and this is the first catalog. It's on Edelweiss for those shops that happen to use Edelweiss. We also have the PDF up on the IPGbook.com website of this catalog, and we've sent out links to this to all those comic book shops that we've started outreach. And some of our comic book friends now in the trades had run our press release that we were doing this. So and of course, I'm very excited for this Baki the Grappler series coming from publisher Kodama Tales. This sold 100 million units in Japan. It became #1 manga in France. And now finally they're bringing it to the US market with an English language translation. And we expect it to go absolutely bananas.
100 million copies already sold entering into the market. I mean, you got to feel confident that you're going to hit something. Right?
There's something about this Baki the Grappler. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and the boys that she hangs out with, like, you have Baki the Grappler. One of the kids was wearing a Baki shirt, and that's when I knew, okay, we're onto something here.
Where do we find that catalog on your site?
If you go to the catalogs up at the top, I think there's and then you'll just see it right there. If you scroll down just a little bit, there she is.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah,
look at that.
Perfect.
Right,
this is new. We're going to try and do this quarterly, but I'm also going to have a drop-ins bundle. We've got so many new publishers. Awesome. Thank you, Christina. We've got so many new publishers signing up right now that I can't even say their names because I'm in red lines of contracts. Yeah. And I'm going to crash those titles in and try to save Christmas for these publishers. I'm going to break all the rules. You're supposed to give Amazon 6 weeks of lead time. I'm going to give them like 5 minutes of lead time, but we're going to get everything up. We're going to get everything organized as best we can, save Christmas for these publishers. And that means I'll have to do drop-in inserts for this catalog, just announcing the stuff we pick up between now and January 1st. Then we'll do another one. And I expect this to stick. I stand on my soapbox and I talk about how the tribes of publishing have all come together. There used to be a Christian book market separate from where we lived, which was the American Booksellers Association, which was the main bookstore trade. And then there were the comic book folks out on their island. There were the academic publishers on their island, the university presses that would sell to those college bookstores. But those stores aren't doing great. The Christian bookstores all closed. Comic books are now more and more looking like bookstores, and we're sort of meeting in the middle. I think it's a fascinating time, and I think there's just one publishing industry now, And I don't think we're as fragmented as we used to be.
Yeah.
And I think if there's going to be, in a small town in America, if there's going to be one bookstore, it needs to be selling manga and graphic novels and everything else that the community needs. And likewise, towns that can support a comic book shop, well, great. There's a ton of products on our list, not from our comic publishers, but from any of our publishers that might cross over into that store.
So tell me just quickly, because I feel like we didn't really hit it hard enough. What is IPG? What does it stand for? How did it come together? And like, how big is it now?
Sure. Yeah. So Independent Publishers Group.
Okay.
It's a DBA where actually our parent company is Chicago Review Press.
Okay.
And, that's what our pay stubs say. And that was a publishing company founded by my parents back in 1971.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a family business. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so they were both professors at Northwestern University, professors of literature. And then they had a little bookshop in Chicago in the Loop. And then they went on to publish a few books. One of the very first things they published was called Prairie State Blues. And it was Japanese poetry translated, set to scenes of the Midwest. And a guy showed up at our offices maybe 10 or 15 years ago, and he said, I'm researching the first graphic novel ever published in America. Did you guys publish this book? And he's got a copy of Prairie State Blues. And sure enough, that's our book. And he says, you're the first graphic novel ever published in America.
What?
Isn't that weird? So the publishing was going okay until, famously my dad tells a story. He calls up Books A Million and says, I'm ready for my sales call to show you my new list. And he said, I'm sorry, sir, you are too small. We have moved to national buying. The era of the chain stores had arrived.
Right.
And suddenly if you were doing less than 100,000 in annual sales to these chains, they wouldn't get you a meeting in the office. So my dad looks around and he finds this group of 6 publishers called Independent Publishers Group that had gotten together for exactly that reason, to get to the critical mass, to be able to get the meeting.
Yeah.
And it was run by some guy in his 80s who played tennis all day. And my dad wound up buying it for nothing. And sure enough, every publisher suddenly needed a distributor. And that distribution piece of the business grew 15% a year for 15 consecutive years.
How many in those 15 years, how many publishers are you representing now?
Well, so now we're 53 years old. That's the old history. We represent a couple of hundred. I hate the question, how many publishers do we distribute?
Sure.
Because we've got publishers who have, haven't published anything new in 10 years, people who are kind of fading away, companies that are consolidating. It's difficult, but I would say we have about 200 really good independent presses that we distribute. And that's in every genre. From academic and professional to trade, children's, Christian, atheist, comics, and everything else, graphic novels. We really have a very eclectic list. And the reason why we exist is the same founding principle, that an alliance of small publishers together can act like one big publisher. And we can get the meetings at Barnes & Noble. We can sell to Target and Sam's Club. We have thousands of open accounts. We field gift reps that call on the gift market. And we have 3 permanent showrooms for the gift market around the country where buyers go in and scan right off the shelf into an order form. And then, of course, in-house, we have about 20 people that do our sales and marketing to the trade. So yeah, a lot of commissioned gift reps, commissioned indie bookstore reps, and then our in-house sales team. And then we have agents and reps around the world for those publishers that want to use us for international sales.
And you have one of the best international sales guys I've ever met. So Scott's good dude. What was the name of that book you said was the first graphic novel?
Prairie State Blues. I could
Prairie State Blues.
Yeah, I'll send you a blurb about it or something.
Please do. If you are in the somebody behind the scenes here for us, go find a copy of that, because I think we need to make this a collectible. The first graphic novel that was published in the U.S. We're going to drive the value of this book up. All right, this is happening.
I think I've got 3 copies in our archive on the 3rd floor here of the building. So,
well, I think we're gonna do our best to make sure that that's your retirement right there, my friend. That's incredible. Oh, here it is. Look at that. Only $203.
Oh my gosh, I could retire on that.
No. This is far too low. We need to get this. Look at this. Oh, I'm going up.
Right?
All right. soon as I'm off of here, I'm going on to eBay. So I don't know about the rest of y'all. All right. Let's talk about the terms that you have for direct market comic shops now. Can we pull that up?
I'm about to.
There we go.
And look, we didn't want to, we had this big debate internally about what kind of terms to offer. And we were hearing that some comic book shops really like Ingram's returnable terms. Ingram's offering a returnable term option. So we thought, all right, if stores aren't sure they want to take a risk on an unknown publisher or author or series, fine, try it at no risk. And if you don't like it, ship it back and we'll credit you in full. That's how the book trade works. But then we also wanted to give an option if you like those diamond comic type terms where you're buying at 50% non-returnable. In both of these, we're offering free freight. So you can be 45 discount free freight, or you can be non-returnable 50 free freight. And then as a sort of first time buying from IPG bonus, we're giving you an extra 3% off on your first order. So you're at 53 free freight all day, or you're at 48 free freight all day. And we're going to be generous offering credit limits to these stores, opening up initial, we just really want to get in and see what we can do and fill this gap that got left behind by Diamond. So yeah, call us up. I know that I've heard that the comic book shops love to get on the phone. Sometimes that's tough at IPG, especially this time of year. I encourage you to email us. And I have this woman, Eileen Schrader, that's our head of special sales. And she would be the person to have a one-on-one conversation about your shop and what we can do to accommodate you. And tell me what I'm doing wrong. We're trying this and we're trying to be flexible, but if we're not doing something right, we want to hear about it.
Well, I can tell you from vast experience that comics retailers love telling you what you do wrong. So you're going to get plenty of that. Christina, we had this from Christina. We also had Marvin earlier on ask how to sign up for distribution. Marvin's a small publisher. How should people who are looking for distribution come contact you?
Right. Well, so Scott, even though he's our head of international sales, he also is very familiar in the comic space. So if you know how to you can always get in touch with Scott Hatfield and start a discussion. But really the sort of generic email for us is distribution@ipgbook.com, ipgbook.com. Distribution@ipgbook.com. Every week we look at that. We have a serious discussion. We have no size requirements as a distributor, which is unusual.
That is unusual.
My dad just said, just don't do business with jerks, do business with smart people that are passionate, give people a chance. So we're a little selective about what we sign up. It's not always going to be a perfect fit. I have to be careful because I can't bring anything in that's a direct competitor or something we already sell. But, we're a little selective, but we also don't have any rules about it. We're looking for really interesting people with great content, and we'll try.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Joe. Well, thank you for coming on and explaining all that to us. And thank you for entering the fray. I mean, there's a lot of room right now for people that are coming at this from an honest place of trying to do it well and trying to move books from people who make books to people who sell books. And it sounds to me like you guys really are landing exactly in that sweet spot. So
we're jumping in with both feet. We're trying to figure it out. And we just saw, it's also to our own benefit. We saw an opportunity to get to a critical mass in a new space. And I love it. It's a new vertical for us. It's a whole new group of stores for us. And stuff crosses over more and more. I distribute for Penguin Random House UK here in the US, and they have books that will slide in. Bonnier UK will have books. International publishers are going to have little things sometimes. And so, and I know what comic book shops want, which is cool stuff. Yeah. And sometimes that's even outside of the genre of manga or graphic novel. So we've got plenty of that.
I do have one more very specific business question, and feel free to dodge this one if you need to. But when Scott Hatfield brings you an expense report, does he have like a per diem for his bar tabs, or do you just have to
Look at that.
Yeah. He gets an unbelievable number of drinks for free, I've noticed. But yeah, no,
that's
Scott,
very true.
We knew what we were signing up for with Scott, and he's a relationship guy like no one else, and we love it.
We just had an episode of Comic Industry Insiders, a podcast where we talked to people, and we talked to one of his old associates, Josh. what is Josh Hayes, who's now at Boom Comics, but was with Scott at DVD, and we talked quite a bit about the nights at what's it called, High Tops with Scott, which is that's a good time, let me tell you. Thank you, Joe. Really appreciate the time, and good luck with this. Let's
and just I forgot to mention, but it's orders at ipgbook.com to get an email in that we'll look at, distribution at. And then I want to leave you guys with some contact information. I want you guys to have Eileen's contact so stores could go straight to a real human that's really managing this campaign. So I'll make sure to send that out.
Wow. Excellent. That is, you know what? That is impressive, and is exactly the kind of thing that is going to make the difference for comics retailers, because it's a relationship business, right?
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm going to reach out to you too to get some information about how we can get some data and help you with your, data for the comics industry. So we'll definitely.
Thank you. I need some help. I'm just getting to meet you guys. My team's just getting to meet the comic book folks. So let's teach us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome.
We're here for it. Thank you, Joe. I doubt that's the last time we'll be having a conversation like this. So
awesome. I loved it.
All right. Excellent. Thanks for coming on.
Bye-bye.
All right. Man, you know what? You know the thing about this, it's just one more example of the opportunity that shows up from a disruption like that bankruptcy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That bankruptcy happens. It feels like everything is going to be circling the bowl soon. And what do we do with our lives? But no, it just gives everyone else an opportunity to step up and do something even better.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's the big thing, that like everything wasn't perfect before either. Right. So it's not like we had this perfect model and we can just say, oh, just do exactly that thing. No, there was huge problems in the industry, and those problems are slowly going away.
They sure are. They sure are. Awesome. Well, we're getting to the point of the show where we start talking about the things that we want to make sure that everybody hears about, because there's stuff that we work on, and we don't charge you for this, so we get to talk about.
We got to pay the bills.
We got to pay the bills. The first thing we want to talk about is there's a Kickstarter happening, and you'd be crazy. Normally, you'd be crazy to talk about a Kickstarter in front of a show where, most of our comments here are from comics retailers. So the idea that we're going to talk about a Kickstarter is a little bit nutty. This one, however, is a little bit special. This is the Volume 2 hardcover of our friends, The Future Is. This is Recca Publishing, one of the clients of Prana Direct Market Solutions. We've helped them build this from the beginning. We are the publisher of record. The Volume 1 hardcover was how we launched the company, and we sent this out. That's a different one. It's a different hardcover. Volume 1 was the issue 1 that we sent out to stores, and it was an incredible success. Volume 2 is up right now. We wanted to figure out how we could have a Kickstarter that actually works with direct market, with comic book shops. And so this particular campaign, the first tier is a $25 tier. When you sign up for that and you commit to the back at that level, not only do you get the digital version of these books, the only way so far
oh goodness,
you can do the digital version, but you also get a $25 gift card at the local comic shop of your choice. I'm going to take a drink while you react.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, how great it is.
That's a great deal. So as a comic shop, you are going to get $25 that somebody can spend in your shop. And when they sign up for the Kickstarter, they're going to say which shop it's with, which is very, very cool.
I know. And we're really looking forward to making Blake and Keith call each and every one of them and figure out how that's going to work. We wanted to give a quick shout out to a friend of the show. We actually have on the podcast next week. We're going to be talking about that in a minute. But there's a documentary that was mentioned earlier. Kyle mentioned it earlier in the show, Shopping for Superman, which is about comic shops. It's legitimately about the culture, the people who run comic shops. And it is currently available to order on Blu-ray, but you can also download it from look at all these logos. It's everywhere. Have you seen the movie yet?
I haven't. No, I've just heard about it recently.
Oh, it's wonderful. Wes is wonderful. And if
Steve Jeppy in it.
Yeah.
It's got Kevin Eastman. It's got Derek Robertson, Dan DiDio, Chris Claremont, Kyle Higgins, Jim LaFood. Like it's It's the whole Scott McCloud, Cardangelo from Earth 2 Comics. Like, that's crazy. Wow.
Joe Ferrara. Joe Ferrara's in it. Who has Joe Ferrara
gosh.
in the
Joe
documentary?
Ferrara from Atlantis Fantasy World.
That's right. We did an interview with Wes for Comic Industry Insiders. It's a podcast that we put out once a week. It comes out every Thursday. This week, it's going to be with Wes Easton, who is the filmmaker, the guy behind the scenes for Shopping for Superman. And he and I sat down and we talked through what that process was like for him. Yes, award-winning documentary. He did actually won at least one film, the first of those that I'm sure that are coming. So Wes is a sweetheart. I absolutely adore the man, and it was a fantastic episode. And actually, I'll have to admit I haven't watched the documentary yet, but I will because I did back them on the Kickstarter. So I'm looking forward to it.
So for those wondering what it is, it's tracing the 50-year history of the local comics bookstore's far-reaching impact. Shopping for Superman examines their cultural significance and the numerous threats they face today. After a 75% industry contraction, floundering sales, superhero fatigue, and online retail competition, can our heroes survive? That's awesome.
I know.
That's not at all what I thought this was. I honestly thought this was about somebody that was going looking for a Superman #1, because there's a similar story out there. It's like a documentary called Selling Superman. And I keep getting the two confused. And that one's about selling a Superman #1.
See, when I asked to put this in the rundown, you didn't challenge it. And I take that faith.
Because I thought it was the opposite thing. And it wasn't until I was like, wait, this isn't the thing that I'm thinking of.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this sounds great.
What's happening with Managed Comics these days?
Dude, so much. I really can't afford to be sick right now. Our new platform, Oryx, is out and running. We are bringing more stores on board. Don't email me asking me when you'll be on, because I don't know. I just don't know. But we understand that this is important, and we're trying to get people on very quickly. Right now, we're building like a self onboarding system. So I've kind of stopped doing any onboarding myself so that we can work on that. We just released a ton of new updates. So that's really cool. And there's more stuff going out all the time. So yeah, check out managedcomics.com to see what the latest stuff is that we've got going on.
Awesome. Once again, want to remind you, the Prana Bullet is a weekly email that we send out every Friday that essentially just is a little bite for you to go into the weekends. We do my best to get it out. I do my best. I'm always the last person in the chain. I do my best to get it out before you go home on a Friday. But it's just it's our way of summarizing what's happening in the comics industry so that you don't have to use that hasn't be the reason that you watch social media, because you should really just avoid it like the plague, because it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare hellscape. Awesome.
I'll give you a special tip too. If you read the Prana Bullet, often those are the stories we're talking about the next week. See, you get a preview of this very show.
That's very true. All right. Oh, look at that. That's cool.
Jason Strong thought the same thing, that it was also. See, it's not just me.
Yeah, well,
it's good that we're getting the info.
It's okay. I appreciate you both of your faith, and I'm glad we had an opportunity to clear that up.
Yeah,
awesome. Well, look at that. We came in with a couple minutes to spare.
That never happens, dude.
That never happens. We're usually rushing at the end.
What do you get going on the rest of the week? Anything exciting?
Like, what did we miss? What did we miss? Did we miss anything?
Hi. What? Nothing. You did good. You did good.
Hey, thanks. Shout out to Blake for the slide decks as always, and the fact that he accommodates my literal last minute. Hey, drop these 2 slides in.
At least you make them though. You're like, here you go. It's easy. Today was tight.
It's always tight, dude.
And every week
I was in a groove, and I was like, all right, here we go. Things are looking good. And then I see Discord pop up, and Adam's like, hey, where's the deck? And I look at the clock, and I was like, we got 20 minutes.
It's weird because I don't have this innate panic on Tuesdays like I used to have, and now I realize the panic just got transferred to Blake.
Yeah,
it's still there. There's still an equal amount of panic.
I feel alive.
That's awesome.
It was today was tight. It was good. It was good. It was a good show though. I had fun listening. IPG sounds awesome. I'm stoked.
Yeah, dude, I'm super stoked about that. That's great.
All right. Thank you, Christina, for jumping in. Thanks for Jason, for Marvin, Jeremy, as always. We appreciate you being here. And everybody else who does what you do to keep the comics industry running. If you are buying comics, if you have a subscription, if you are selling comics, you work at a comic book shop, if you own a comic shop, if you are working in distribution, God bless you. If you're a publisher, all of us together make something that's really special and gives us all something to do. And frankly, the three people on the screen, we're not much good at anything else.
No,
so we thank you for keeping this up for us. Awesome. Thank y'all. We'll see you next week. And be sure to check out the podcast in the audio version, which will drop tomorrow. Awesome. Thanks. Namaste.
Namaste, y'all.
Somebody push that button.